Quick video today. We're going to talk about American Barbell's Chewy bar. I got it right here. Little different review. I want to talk about how this bar compares to other stainless steel bars in terms of price and in terms of quality. And I also want to compare it to the bar that it was designed to be the luxury version of, the Kabuki 250K power bar. If you're interested in that, stick around. Okay, so American Barbell's Chewy bar. I'm excited to get to talk about this bar today because previously my daily driver and one of my favorite power bars of all time was the Kabuki Strength, rest in peace, 250K power bar. Now, they didn't offer that power bar in stainless steel. What we have here is a beautifully done stainless steel, hard chrome sleeve bar that is not cheap. So, what stands out about this bar? It's a typical power bar, 29 millimeter, obviously has, and all these bars I'm going to talk about today, they're all power bars. So the comparisons are all going to be 29 millimeters. They're all going to have a center knurl. They're all around 86 inches long. They're all pretty standard in that regard. But this bar has a couple things that really stand out from other bars that you may buy. Number one, the knurl. The knurl is super well done. Now, the knurl is 20 teeth per inch. I think the previous version, the original version they came out with, was 25 teeth per inch. But what that does is it creates a bar that's really, really grippy without tearing up your hands. This bar, and if you want to know more of the story back on the Garage Gym Discord, I'm going to link Basement Brandon's review because he talks a lot about this and I don't want to rehash it. But essentially, American Barbell set out to make a bar that was of higher quality, fit and finish, than the Kabuki 250K power bar that was also in stainless steel because Kabuki didn't offer bars in stainless steel. In fact, a lot of companies don't offer bars in stainless steel. When I went to look at other bars to compare this to, other stainless steel bars, Titan doesn't have one. Obviously, Texas Power Bar doesn't have one. There's a number of companies that just not in their lineup. With that said, this bar stands out in a number of ways. Fit and finish is absolutely incredible on this bar. If you look at, the sleeves are actually hard chrome and they're slick. Okay, there's no ribbed sleeves. So if you don't like a slick sleeve, you might not like these. I didn't think I did. Of all the bars I own, and I own over 15, 16 bars now, I only have one other bar that has smooth sleeves, but I really like it. The sleeves on this bar are super well done. They look great. In fact, you'd never know they were hard chrome. I assume they were stainless steel, but I contacted American Barbell and they are indeed hard chrome. The other neat thing about this bar that stands out is the precision. If you look at inside this sleeve, you can see not only the stainless steel snap ring, which is a nice addition to actually have a stainless steel snap ring, but inside of most of the sleeves, you're going to see a bushing. You're not going to actually be able to see the snap ring. And then you can see some really precise machining on the inside of the sleeve here, of the collar, which is really nice. They've done a really nice job at the end of the sleeves, kind of tapering the end of the sleeve, and then the TIG welds. So they have hand TIG welds, which really make this bar stand out. Really well done. So there's a lot of individual attention applied to each of these bars. So between how well the knurl is, between the really well done sleeves, between the fit and finish, the final thing is the movement between the actual shaft of the bar and the sleeve, the tolerance. There's almost no movement. You know, 10 years ago, nobody even really cared about that. I don't think people talked about it. But since American Barbell has done such a nice job. Now people are actually caring about it. And why it makes a difference is it's a much quieter bar for when you deadlift. If you watch Basement Brandon's video, he does this thing called a drop test. When you drop this bar, you just hear a clink. You don't hear, or a thud. You don't hear any metal on metal. And so when you deadlift with this bar, for example, I have urethane bumpers. When I deadlift with the normal bar, you're going to hear some metal on metal. You're going to hear some clinking. This bar, it's just a thud from my bumpers. So super quiet. Just everything about it, man. It feels good in the hand, and no, not in a dirty way. But it's a great bar. But this bar is $700. In fact, here's what I paid for this bar. So I ended up paying, it's on their website right now for just around $700. I used the discount code. You can a lot of times get a discount code with American Barbell for your first purchase. It's like 10% off. To my door, I ended up paying $709.24. That's expensive. And so, look, when you look at reviews of this bar, there's one big time commonality. It's a really well-made power bar. One of the best power bars you're going to buy. Okay, I don't think that's really in question. I've watched all the YouTube reviews on the Chewy bar. They all have the same common theme, which is it's a great bar. I've read all of the online reviews. They all have the same theme. It's a great bar. But is it a good value bar? Because we know it's expensive. So what I wanted to do in this video was compare it to other stainless steel bars and see if it's really overpriced, if it's kind of right in the middle, or if you're actually getting a good deal. And like I said, this one to my door, just over $700. It's 190,000 PSI, so solid. I looked online. They have 26 reviews on the American Barbell website, and 25 of them were 5-star. One of them was a 4-star. The 4-star had to do with maybe something on the knurling. So take that for what it's worth. It's a limited lifetime warranty. It's made in America. It's USA made. You do have a limited lifetime warranty. And I mentioned before, but the 20 teeth per inch. So it's got a really nice grippy knurl. It's going to be everything you want. I know knurl's subjective, but I think you're going to like the knurl. So I looked at some other bars. I even went to Amazon. I did find an Amazon stainless steel bar with hard chrome sleeves. A company called Loeft, L-O-E-F-T. Stainless steel, hard chrome sleeves. It's a power bar, so it's 29 millimeters, roughly the 86.52 inches. So all of those things. There's obviously no warranty. You can get a 2-year protection plan for like an extra 25 bucks. The nice thing with Amazon, I don't recommend typically buying barbells from Amazon, especially if it doesn't list a PSI, but this one does. But they do have 30-day returns, and Amazon's pretty good with that. That bar, I don't know where it was made. I assume China. But with taxes and everything, it came to $226.19. They do a really good job with the pictures on it. They make it look super nice. 205 PSI. I wish they would send that one to me for free, because that I don't trust it enough to pay $226.19. But it definitely, the specs are there. So that's far cheaper. I did look at Titan. They don't offer stainless steel. I talked about it. Texas Power Bar doesn't offer stainless steel. So Rogue, Rogue offers a little bit of everything. But I just went with the basic Rogue Ohio Power Bar, stainless steel with the chrome sleeves. Rogue, you can do stainless steel sleeves. I think they're like 70 bucks more, but I wanted to do apples for apples. The Rogue one is 200 PSI. And like I mentioned, this American barbell is 190 psi. So the Rogue one's technically going to be a little bit stiffer. I don't think you'd ever notice. The Kabuki's 250. I don't know if you'd ever notice, but for those that really care about the PSI, the Rogue Ohio one was 200. The nice thing with Rogue is they get a lifetime warranty. And Rogue's customer service is fantastic. The bar was $415, shipped to my door with tax, $466.32. So that's quite a bit cheaper than just over $700. And it's American made. So pretty apples for apples. You're going to get a nice bar with Rogue. It's going to be cheaper. Rep, not American made, but Rep's high quality. The Rep Black Diamond Power Bar. With taxes to my door, $358.86. That one's free shipping, but you're going to pay some taxes. 200,000 PSI. It's a nice bar, and that's stainless steel, hard chrome sleeves. There are other ones out there. Omni Fitness, $441 to my door. Vulcan was interesting because it's 240K PSI. So it's the highest PSI I've seen on a bar that's not a Kabuki 250K bar. That bar's expensive, $600, but it's sold out. So I couldn't tell how much it was going to cost to get to my door. But that bar's also a USA made bar. So it would have been neat if that bar wasn't out of stock. But as of today, it's June 11th, that bar was out of stock. Hansu Power, I do have a Hansu Power bar, but mine's in zinc. I like the Hansu Power bar. They do offer a stainless steel bar to your door, pretty good deal, under $400, $399. Free shipping, 210 PSI. The only thing I would say about the Hansu bar is the collars are really small. Doesn't matter to some. Somebody that has a Rogue rack like this, it may matter. It does matter to me because you have no room for air when you're walking out a squat, or even if you're squatting with spotter arms. If you're not perfect, you will bump your plates into the spotter arm. It's happened to me. I'm not all over the place either. So I tend to try to stay away from bars with the super small sleeve. But man, that Hansu stainless steel bar, I think Basement Brandon did a review on that bar. I'm positive he did, so you might want to check that out. I've done a review on the one I have that's in zinc. So you start seeing all these different prices. Stainless steel, bottom line is it's expensive. If you go like Usaka, Japanese barbell, you're going to pay way over $1,000, or over $1,000, maybe not way over. The Eleiko, 215,000 PSI, so it's a stiff bar. They're all good at the PSI, right? Does it matter if it's 190 or 215, or does it mean a lot that the Kabuki's 250? To be honest, you'll never feel it. They're all stiff. I wouldn't get a bar that's under 180, 185 if you want it to never bend. But I don't know if you'd ever notice it. But the Eleiko, to your door, stainless steel, 12-year warranty, not even a lifetime warranty. Chrome sleeves, you're looking at $1,141.88 to my door, Sacramento. Now, the Eleiko does have these fancy sleeves that are designed to hold some sensors, which you can buy as an add-on for another $900. So if that's important to you, man, you're getting into like almost $2,000 at that point for a bar and sensor. So when I look and compare this bar to other stainless steel bars on the market, I mean, I think it's kind of right there. Obviously, Rogue, you're going to get a cheaper bar, but you're not going to get a bar that has the same fit and finish as the Chewy bar. It's not going to have the same tolerances. It's not going to have really neat individual things like the TIG welds. It's going to perform really well. If you go on the other end, Eleiko, you're paying over $1,000. So it's an expensive bar. It's an expensive bar. It's not a bar I'd recommend if it's your first power bar. But if you're somebody that really wants maybe the best of the best, and you don't want to go Alico because you don't want to get the small collars, you don't want to go Osaka because they have the small collars, really you're not going to find a nicer power bar than this. Compared to the Kabuki 250K, I love that power bar. That's why I wanted this bar, because that's my daily driver. It's my favorite bar. It's my favorite power bar. How does it compare? Let's just talk about first squat. I typically still, my daily driver, even though I've had this for a number of months, is still my Kabuki 250K power bar. If I'm going to squat with a power bar. I have the Kabuki squat bar too. But it's because it has the nice center marking. I know that's a little thing, but Kurt Locker talked about this in one of his videos. I think more companies should put the center marking, because it's a nice feature to have. So when I'm getting ready to do a squat, I can use that. It's perfect on my back. I gravitate towards that Kabuki power bar if I'm going to squat with a power bar because of that marking. So a squat, I still prefer my Kabuki power bar. Bench press, I typically go still to my Kabuki bar because of the knurl. Now, I just told you this has great knurl, very similar to Kabuki's, very subjective. They're both super grippy without being so aggressive they tear up your hands. But if Kabuki's a 10 out of 10 on the Jack subjective scale of knurl, the Chewy bar's a 9.5. So they're very close, but I still end up going to my Kabuki. And by the way, the Kabuki bar was over $700 too, before they started to go downward, the fall of Kabuki. I got mine for $500, but when it was originally $700, keep in mind it wasn't stainless steel, which is always going to be the most expensive finish you can get because it's the best finish you can get. And then for deadlifts, there's no question. I think if you're going to deadlift with a power bar, you will not find a bar that's more enjoyable to deadlift with than this power bar. Listen to what I said. If you're going to deadlift with a power bar, I'm not talking deadlift bars, but just if you're going to go and deadlift with the power bar, this bar's great. I think the knurl, again, subjective, is perfect for me with deadlifting. I use chalk, but I don't have any grip problems. I'm a mixed grip when I deadlift, so I don't hook grip, but I don't have any grip problems, and it's so quiet. I mean, so quiet. I can deadlift at night. People can be sleeping. It's so quiet. All you hear is a thud. So, am I glad I bought the bar? You bet your ass I am. I just think it's a wonderful bar. And like I said, it's not for everybody. Paying over $700 is not for everybody. But if you can afford it and you want a power bar that's really as good as you can get, I mean, this is a great option. So to me, expensive bar. For somebody like me, it's worth every penny. Curious what you think. Is this super overpriced? Does it fall right kind of where it should? Or is it a good value play? To me, I think it's right where it should be. What do you think? Hey, thanks for coming by. Subscribe, like, and until next time, adios.